What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of British Guy Reacts, the place where we give honest, not overreactions. Today's a very different video. It's a channel we checked out before the infographics show. We're watching The Angel of Death, the AC-130. This came up in my recommended, and I've used this myself, not in real life, obviously. Call of Duty, new Call of Duty is out, or it's coming out very soon with the new Warzone. The AC-130, anyone who's played Call of Duty knows about this. I don't actually know anything about it in real life, how it's been used, what kind of features it has. It's always a very scary thing to hear when you are playing Call of Duty, when the enemy has an AC-130 flying overhead. So I want to see how terrifying it is in real life, although we are watching an animated version. Because this channel is really good, the infographic show. They make good videos, so go and check them out. And if you're enjoying my videos, subscribe to the channel, comment down below on what else you want to see. Let's get straight into it.
You and the rest of your platoon are pinned down. Enemies are closing in from all sides. Bullets
Somebody got a 6-kill streak or whatever you need. 8
whiz above your head and ricochet off the building you're holding out from. You've been in some bad situations before, but this might be the worst one yet. You don't see any clear way out other than a body bag. You decide to call in air support. But can any amount of air support save you?
One guy got the kill streak.
Then you hear a response over the radio. Angel of Death is above your position, hunker down. We got this, says the voice on the radio. All of a sudden, the sky lights up with gunfire from the heavens. You watch the enemy be completely wiped out by your saviors above. This might sound like a story out of the Bible or a sci-fi thriller, but this is how thousands of US soldiers have been supported in battles around the world. The Angel of Death refers to the AC-130 gunship. Its remarkable firepower and long range allows it to provide aerial fire support for long periods of time. Air support from the Angel of Death always has devastating consequences for the enemy. Gunships started with the AC-47. This aircraft was codenamed Spooky and used in the 1960s to support ground troops. During the Vietnam War, the gunships were used to provide extra firepower when troops needed support. The AC-47 showed the world what a gunship was capable of. Sure, it had limitations, but it's hard to argue with the successful results after a gunship came through a battlefield.
So they're called gunships, right? They are kind of like old school pirate ships in a way. The way they have these guns coming off the sides, like cannons. Like an old school Blackbeard ship.
Imagine being in a squad that's pinned down in the dense Vietnamese jungle. You're in the firefight with Viet Cong soldiers. You've been ambushed and you and your men are in dire straits. There are casualties on both sides as bullets fly and grenades explode. The problem is that you're outnumbered. The longer the battle goes on, the closer you are to running out of ammo. One of your squad mates calls for support. From the sky above, machine gun rounds rain down on the enemy. Bombs fall and decimate the retreating enemy troops.
It's kind of a cheat code, isn't it? You know, you've always got that as a backup, just in case things get a bit sketchy out there. Just call in the Angel of Death, lad.
Look up in the sky and see an AC-47 circling above you. Sunlight gleams off of its metal hull. The AC-47 continues to circle and provide support, but eventually it pulls out of its circling maneuver, and the pilot radios that they're low on fuel and ammunition. The gunship has to return to base. Although the AC-47 rescued you and your squad, some of the enemy was able to get away. If only the AC-47 had a longer flight time and more ammunition. Enter the C-130 Hercules. This gunship provided more cargo space for weapons and ammunition. It also had a much higher fuel capacity than its predecessor, meaning it could fly longer missions. The longer the gunship could stay in the air, the more damage could be done to the enemy. Now when you called in for a gunship, the C-130 could circle and fire down on enemies for a long period of time. If your squad ever needed to call in for air support again, you could be sure that the C-130 would finish off the enemy completely. Toward the end of the Vietnam War, gunships underwent one more airframe change. This led to the AC-130. It was the gunship of choice for the US military and was extremely successful. The military still uses this basic airframe today. Over the years, new technology has been added to make it the Angel of Death that enemies fear. The original and unofficial nickname for the AC-130 when it was first introduced was Puff the Magic Dragon.
No, it wasn't. Puff the Magic Dragon. How'd you go from Puff the Magic Dragon to the Angel of Death? It sounds like a kids' TV show.
Dragon, or Puff for short. That name didn't stick, however. Maybe it was because a big purple dragon was not as intimidating as the Angel of Death. Or maybe the heads of the military weren't so keen on having one of their most deadly weapons associated with the cannabinoid drug. The AC-130 was and still is successful for many different reasons. The basic model has 4 Allison T56A15 turboprop engines, which give the aircraft 17,200 horsepower. It has a wingspan of 133 feet and a length of 98 feet, which provides ample room for ammunition and mounted guns. It can reach 300 miles per hour and has a range of 1,300 miles. It is normally loaded with 30mm and 105mm cannons and 25mm Gatling guns to mow down any enemy targets that threaten U.S. soldiers on the ground. Basically, it's like having a fleet of flying tanks as aerial support, and all for only $210 million a plane. The AC-130 Angel of Death gunships made their debut toward the end of the Vietnam War. The Air Force knew they'd found the right plane for the job when the AC-130 destroyed more than 10,000 enemy trucks and provided numerous life-saving close air support missions for ground soldiers. After the Vietnam War, the AC-130 provided support for ground troops in battles all around the world. In the 1980s, the military used them in the Americas mostly. In 1983, the Angel of Death was sent to Grenada for Operation Urgent Fury. The gunship played a vital role in supporting paratroopers and Navy SEAL squads as they fought their way across the island to dismantle a dangerous military regime who had taken control of the island. After Operation Urgent Fury, the Angel of Death was used in Panama for Operation Just Cause, where it was used to destroy military installations and bunkers around the country. In the 90s, most of the United States gunships were stationed in the Middle East.
You're getting your money's worth then from it. It's an expensive piece of equipment, but it's saving lives and it's being used a lot, especially back in the day. It's just a cheat code, isn't it?
There was also several missions in Somalia for Operation Restore Hope and Bosnia for Operation Deliberate Force. These missions happened in 1993 and 1995 respectively. The first time the Angel of Death was used in the Middle East was during Operation Desert Storm in 1991. In the early 2000s, it was used again during the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The AC-130 is still being used in conflicts in the Middle East, but what is it like to be inside the Angel of Death? To be the one who is in charge of unleashing the full fury of the AC-130 against enemy troops? We know that from the ground, all a soldier needs to do is hunker down and wait until the firing stops. Then they can be sure the coast is clear. But what does it take to be part of the AC-130 crew? Imagine you're sitting in the flight hangar waiting for orders. You and some of the other soldiers are playing poker or watching episodes of the Infographic Show. It is your favorite YouTube channel. Then all of a sudden a siren sounds. You and your crewmates grab your gear and enter the open maw leading into the belly of the plane. Black letters run along the side of the green hull, spelling out the Angel of Death. You take your seat in the gunner station and strap in. The propeller engines spin to life and you take off into the sky toward a pinned down squad requesting air support. You're flying in one of the newly upgraded AC-130s. It has state-of-the-art targeting equipment and upgraded weapon capabilities. You know that as soon as you reach your target, you can unleash hell on the enemy. You hear the pilot through your headset. He informs the crew that the plane is about to enter into the firing zone. You feel the AC-130 bank right and to begin its 360-degree circle around the hostiles on the ground. The screen in front of you flashes to life and you're bathed in the luminescent green glow of the night vision display. You can see individual bodies from the thermal imaging. Nothing is going to get by you. You're given the signal to go weapons hot. Let's do this, you say. You watch.
I'm guessing the one in real life can like destroy buildings or go through buildings. Call of Duty, all you had to do was just go and hide inside a building and it couldn't get to you. That was the way out of it.
Your monitor and select the newly upgraded 30mm cannons and Gatling guns. There are enemy troops advancing quickly on your allies. You unleash bullets from the guns, mowing down the enemy soldiers in their tracks. The plane carries more than enough ammunition for such a mission, so there's no need to be shy with the bullets. Your guns can fire up to 200 rounds a minute, so there are enough bullets for everyone. You hold down the trigger to force the remaining enemy troops to take cover. The dirt in front of the enemy explodes from the impact of bullets, and they're sent running for cover. You then see a new supply of troops headed toward the battlefield in an enemy transport. You switch over to the GBU-39 small-diameter bombs. These devices have precision guidance systems built into them. Once you mark a target for destruction, your bombs will hit it every single time. The enemy truck approaches the pinned-down squad. You take aim and fire. The bombs fall through the sky and detonate on top of the truck. Shards of metal and rubber fly through the air. The enemy vehicle goes up in flames as the Angel of Death continues to circle above. The enemy is no match for your firepower. Next, you switch to the 105mm M102 howitzer cannon. It's time to get serious. You see an enemy tank come around one of the buildings. It stops and takes aim at the location of your allies on the ground. Your M102 can fire 10 50-pound shells per minute with precision accuracy, but you know you'll only need one good shot. You line up the howitzer targeting the enemy tank.
See, it told us how much the plane cost, but how much does all this ammunition cost? Because this can't be cheap. Like all these different bullets and bombs and guidance systems. I mean, what was it, 210 million for the ship itself, but this ammo must cost a lot every time it's used.
You take a deep breath to make sure your aim is perfect, then you fire. The shell soars through the air and embeds itself in the top of the tank. The round detonates and the tank is destroyed. Threat neutralized. The pilot of your AC-30 notices that anti-aircraft vehicles have moved into position on the left side of the plane, and it would take too long to maneuver the plane to fire at the enemy using the guns on the right side. You would be blown out of the sky before you had a chance to fire a single round. Luckily, the Angel of Death has complementary weapons on both sides of the plane. It doesn't matter which way the enemy is firing from, the gunship has it covered. You flip a switch and your screen switches over to the guns on the left side of the plane. There's no time to waste. You fire all weapons at the anti-aircraft vehicles that are trying to shoot you out of the sky. Every single one of your shots is a direct hit. Nothing can stop you and the Angel of Death. You switch back over to the guns on the right side of the plane and continue to provide aerial support. The pilot signals an evac helicopter that it's time to move in. The chopper lands on the outside of the building that the pinned-down squad is held up in. The entire squad rushes out of the building and into the helicopter. It lifts off and flies your brothers in arms to safety. Your AC-130 lands at the airbase. You meet up with the squad you just rescued, and everyone gets a high five and a cold beer. It's good to have an Angel of Death ready to support ground troops at a moment's notice.
It's better than good. It's bloody amazing. It's a get out of jail free card, isn't it? Like, I mean, like we said, it's very expensive, but it's saving its own troops' lives. Obviously, it's not saving the lives of the enemy. It's bloody killing. It's blowing them to pieces, but the team that it's working for, you know, priceless.
The plane gets refueled and you take the night off to continue watching awesome videos from the infographic show. When you wake up the next day, you are handed blueprints for the new line of the AC-130 gunships. They're being built and prototyped in a few months. You see that the aircraft itself is lighter and more efficient. The new AC-130 burns 25 to 30% less fuel than the current gunships. It has a top speed of 416 miles per hour, which is over 100 miles per hour faster than the current AC-130s. The new models are equipped with 6-blade propeller engines instead of the standard 4-blade props to make it much more efficient. This gives the new model a 3,000-mile range. That more than doubles the flight distance of the current AC-130s. It's amazing what technology can do. You also hear top-secret rumors that the new AC-130 Angel of Death will be outfitted with combat lasers. This is some futuristic firepower, but how cool would that be? You think about all the missions AC-130s have carried out, how many battles have been won and lives saved because of the air support of the Angel of Death.
Like I just said before, it says life saved. It's not saving everyone's life, this piece of equipment.
Death provides. It's no wonder that these aircrafts have been around for over 50 years. All you know is that you're glad the Angel of Death is on your side.
Just you,
if you want to learn more about cool...
I do kind of want to learn more. Like I said, does any other countries have this? And there's got to be some like similar ships on opposite sides. Not even opposite sides, but surely like maybe did the UK have anything like this? China, Japan, any of them? This was quite interesting. Like I said, the only thing I know about the AC-130 previously is from Call of Duty. I'm not a massive war guy. Like I'm not massively into guns. We don't have guns in the UK. And I don't really know about, I know what a Gatling gun is obviously, but when it's like 105mm, 30mm, this kind of bomb, I'm not really that clued up on it. But I do have a bit of an interest in these crazy ships. If you did enjoy the video, like the video, comment down below what else you want to see, subscribe to the channel, go and check out the infographic show, and I will see you for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.